My initial idea was to record a video about what Europeans know about Brazil, but then I realized it's not a lot, so it's probably going to be just a 1-minute video and no point in this. So this is why I will focus on things that are interesting, unique to Brazil, and at the same time more people should know about them. I will be giving you my opinion as someone coming from Eastern Europe, and that's the difference between the West and the East, because mostly Brazilians, when they go abroad, they're going to the West. So countries like Germany, France, UK, Spain, obviously Portugal as well. No one comes to the East. So we in the East, we don't get any exposure. So we know almost nothing about Brazil apart from where on the map that it is somewhere in Latin America. The first thing, it's a bit of a strange one, but I want to say that it's music. When I was in Brazil, I kept hearing these songs that I knew. I was like, okay, you guys are like really into Spanish music. Like I keep hearing the Spanish music all the time. Like these were actually songs that were popular back in my home country. And people would tell me that Spanish, that's a Brazilian song. I was super surprised because I keep hearing these songs that I always felt like they were Spanish songs, at least the Spanish language, somewhere from Latin America. I don't know, maybe like Argentina, Peru, Ecuador, Colombia, or just somewhere there in that region, never Brazil. So yes, there are a lot of popular Brazilian songs, but we never know they're Brazilian. We just don't even know how Portuguese sounds like. I think the first time when I remember hearing Portuguese, or at least I thought it was Portuguese, I was 25. I was at the gym and some people were talking this weird language. It sounded like an Italian trying to speak Spanish. It's super weird. It wasn't Spanish, it wasn't Italian, so by exclusion, I came to the conclusion that this is probably Portuguese. But even when I finally came to Brazil, it still sounded like a very weird language to me. And sure, when people are talking, you can hear the difference. In a song, someone singing Italian versus Spanish versus Portuguese, to me, and I feel like this is the case with most Eastern Europeans, it's basically the same language. More people should be aware that some songs they're actually coming from Brazil, or at least they should know that those popular songs are Brazilian. Let's talk about partying. Most people back home, they do know that, they have this association with Brazil party, carnivals and whatnot, Rio. But I didn't realize, and this was something that took me a little bit by surprise, I noticed that people actually drink a lot. Not only drinking, if I have to be honest, maybe this is just Sao Paulo, maybe it's not nationwide. People are very, how do I put this, liberal and open-minded when it comes to certain kind of substances, especially illegal drugs. And yes, I know that there's a big problem with this, but my experience was that it's a nice party place, and people, even when they drink, and they certainly drink a lot, yeah, and they take other stuff, they're still pretty fun. They're just a great company. I haven't seen anything too crazy, and people just generally don't get obnoxious and they don't get in trouble, which is the case in other countries. Yeah, people drink a lot in many different countries, but in some places it's just not a good experience. Whereas where in Brazil people like to party, they're more fun, they're more open to certain kind of behavior, but it's still, you're gonna have a good experience as a foreigner. The next thing, talking about drinking, let's talk about food as well. I'm not a big foodie. Even when I visit my family, even when I'm at my grandma's place, I don't really eat that much cooked food. I don't care about restaurants. I don't care about food in general, unless it's sweet, unless it's desserts, chocolate candies, and that kind of things. But I did have the opportunity to try a lot of different things in Brazil. So cooked meals, going to some nice restaurants. And I did enjoy the food. Certain types of cuisines, so Asian, Italian, they're very popular in a lot of countries, but you almost never go to a Brazilian place. At least we don't have it in Eastern Europe. Something that I particularly find interesting is that people in Brazil, for some reason, really, this is not unique to Brazil, by the way, but really like to mix rice, beans, and potatoes in the same dish. Super strange. It's just 3 types of starchy carbs. Same thing with meat. So it's mixing different variations of the same type. So with meat, you may have some chicken and on top you have some bacon. Why? You just need one type of meat, one type of side carbs. That's it. It is tasty for sure. It's just that it's a little bit different than what I'm used to back in Eastern Europe. Then on to the next thing. I talked about this in a separate video, but safety and how dangerous the country is, the information that you get from people, and especially if you start searching online, is very, to an extent, it's inaccurate. I wouldn't say completely inaccurate, but the idea that you would get from talking to people and people expressing their opinions without having ever been to Brazil tends to be very wrong. So actually, we in Eastern Europe, we have no idea if Brazil is safe or dangerous. And even when I told my family, they were, yeah, Brazil, we don't know anything. I hope we're safe. We have no expectations. Like, we just don't know. But if you look online, when I did visit the official government website of Bulgaria, they rate the country as very dangerous. Actually, on a scale from 1 to 5, they give it 4. 5 being there's no way you go there, you're gonna, I mean, bad stuff is gonna happen to you. 4 is actually pretty dangerous. There's a lot of text in red that warns against and tries to discourage people from actually going to Brazil, especially if they're going to specific regions. I think what they say is that unless it's absolutely necessary, you should avoid traveling to Brazil. And if you do go there, you have to be as part of a group with a guide, not on your own. Which, for sure, there are places in Brazil that are very dangerous. And if you don't know where you're going and when you're going there, it's probably, you may get in trouble. But it's certainly not as bad as the web would have you believe, or what people may tell you, people who haven't been there. So it's a bit of an undeserved bad reputation to an extent. So yeah, that's pretty much it. My favorite things about Brazil, Brazilian culture. I hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, remember, the Emperor protects. Cheers.